Breaking news right now, the Gladiator fire becoming a giant tonight. The area burned more than doubling in size. Keep in mind, this is steep, rugged terrain, not an easy firefight at all. ABC 15's Steve Irvin is in Mayor tonight after the latest community meeting. Steve, I've been in these meetings before for the past 10 summers, and the fire report, when it's not promising, you can feel the heartbreak in the room.
Yeah, and Katie, your heart really goes out to these people because they just don't know if they're going to have a home to even go back to when all is said and done. And this is 4 days now into this firefight. So a lot of sadness, a lot of disappointment tonight, even though it was somewhat of a good news, bad news scenario. The little bit of good news they got tonight was that on the western side of this fire, they have made at least a little bit of progress. They were able to do some airdrops in that area, slowing down the progress of the fire. And keep in mind, Crown King sort of sits on the southwestern side of the fire. No homes damaged or burned there at this point, but the threat from that fire is still too much to allow residents to go back in. Now, the bad news is that this fire is growing rapidly. As you mentioned, more than doubling and almost tripling in size from where it was just this morning. It was at 2,000 acres this morning. Tonight, the number stands at more than 5,400 acres. Still 500 firefighters on the line, and this fire still just 5% contained. All of that news, of course, coming at a community meeting tonight where so many people gathered hoping to find out just exactly when they can return to their homes. And I want to bring in Adam Slinger. Adam, you were there in that meeting. You talked to a lot of the people there. Sadness and disappointment as they walked away. It's really taking a toll on them.
Yeah, and the big question for them is, when can they go back home to Crown King? And the answer is no time soon. I was talking to one woman who left early Monday morning. She thought her husband was right behind her. Turns out he had another plan.
Yes, I didn't know he was staying. He told me he was meet me down the road. But because he knew I wouldn't be happy about that.
So he kind of tricked her into leaving without him. Her husband is okay, she says, and he has a bag packed if the fire gets too close to their home. Firefighters told the people at the town meeting to beg anyone that they know who is still in Crown King to get out tonight. Now, if you watched our newscast last night, you saw an emotional L'Oreal Mine break down in tears. Firefighters told her her house would probably be lost. Well, the fire did claim another home today, but it was not hers.
I don't know. I mean, how do you get so happy about, wow, you know, I lucked out because the wind shifted and somebody else did lose their home. So.
More than 500 firefighters, Steve, are currently working on the Gladiator fire tonight, and they say every day it will get closer to the center of Crown King.
Yeah, it's certainly difficult. And you can understand why people would want to stay behind. I mean, they built their entire lives there, and they feel like they can do something. But obviously, they're putting themselves in danger as well when they do that. Thanks so much, Adam. You know, we talked about the massive resources that are coming here to Crown King every day. And as you can imagine, with 500 firefighters on the line, it takes a huge amount of support just to keep them going. They work brutally long shifts, 12 to 16 hours a day. And tonight I got a chance to go inside base camp.
When it comes to taking care of firefighters, it's more than just your basic showers and grub.
It's a scientific process of what we're putting in our bodies out in the fire line. So it's more of a 6,000 calorie a day guidelines.
That's what a triathlete burns. Good stuff, too. On tonight's menu, sweet and sour chicken, coconut rice, and veggies. That's not bad.
Thank you. I bet you that goes down pretty quick after a day on the fire line.
Then there's the showers, brought in on a truck built to handle a lot of dirt.
It's unbelievable.
Dude, right?
It's unbelievable.
As for supplies, everything you can imagine, stacked up in boxes so nobody goes without.
Now, of course, we are usually kept far away from these fires, but tonight we got a rare chance to go actually much closer to the fire lines just to experience what it's like for those firefighters there. And it's dangerous, dangerous work. Firefighters are constantly monitoring the behavior of the fire itself, the weather conditions. They always keep in mind an escape route, too, because safety is of the utmost concern. But make no mistake, this is a job where they are literally putting their lives on the line every day just to protect people and property. And we mentioned how much this fire has grown. We put up a comparison of the two different maps from last night and then from tonight. And you can see from these maps just how much larger that fire area is. And Katie, tonight, perhaps the worst news of all is that this fire is expected to grow much, much larger. And that's because of the strategy that we're learning about tonight. They call it a big box strategy, something that was pretty familiar in the wildfire that we saw last year. The terrain here is so steep that they're going to allow that fire to actually burn into flatter areas and use natural fire breaks. But what it means is they give up a lot of acreage, so they're really staying in for the long haul tonight.
Yeah, they're really stuck with the terrain and where the roads are and things like that. All right, well, we'll be watching. Thank you, Steve, for your report.